Welcome back to Becoming the Hero, the personal development podcast for nerds, geeks, and the like. I'm your host, Justin Lewis, and thank you for joining me today on my drive into work. Again, this is a fun experience for me because I'm commuting to a remote job. I don't know. Today, want to talk about some money saving hacks, just in my experience. And again, this show right now, at least for the next week or so, is mostly just kind of personal journal lessons to remember, similar to the book Marcus Aurelius wrote, the old ancient Roman emperor, Meditations, which was sort of lessons he was trying to reinforce to himself, but also maybe to those who might come after him. Anyway, also, please excuse the windshield wipers. I will not be editing those out because, frankly, this is raw, this is unedited, this is what you get. So enjoy all the funny nuances of daily living. Also, I hope I'm not too loud. But anyway, money-saving hacks. Well, first of all, let's talk a little bit about money. And you know what? I'm going to use D&D as an example. In D&D, you can theoretically survive without money, right? Because you can hunt and survive using survival checks or nature checks to find food and water and be able to escape the elements via finding shelter or whatnot, right? We don't necessarily live in that situation, but what I will tell you is having gold or finances, I guess you could say, is key to being able to create the character you want. Not just that, but in certain instances, it's key to survival. Having a health potion here or there at a moment's notice when you're fighting a big bad is crucial to keeping your character alive. You'll probably die if you don't have health potions or that one magic item or whatnot, right? It's very important. And that said, you also need to be wise in how you spend your gold. You can't just go to every tavern and buy the most expensive drink on the list every single time, because sometimes you'll need to save that money to buy a health potion. So, all this is to say, in real life, saving money matters. Because, again, it's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep. If you earn $1 million and then you spend $1,001,001, you are in debt, despite earning $1 million. So with that said, here are some of the top tips that I've learned most recently about saving money. Number one is have faith. And I know that is a very hard thing to think about. If you're not religious, think of it in terms of Dungeons and Dragons again. If you're a paladin, you have to do certain things and you get boons from your god. And you don't even have to have a god to be a paladin. You could be a paladin of justice, but you have to do certain things and you get boons from the ideal or the god or the entity or the concept that you serve. In this case, you need to have faith, one, that putting money aside for later use is a good thing and it will reap many benefits for you later on. Two, you need to have faith that even if you save money, you'll still have enough in the interim to survive. And that's important for hack number 2. Save money the second thing you do, right? And this is what I do personally. When I get any sort of money, first thing I do is I pay tithing on it. I'm a religious person, but if you're not religious, pay charity. Pay a certain amount to some sort of service that doesn't benefit you at all. Just give the money away. Because that's almost like you planting your flag in the mountain of your life and saying, I do not need everything I get to survive because I'm a capable and powerful individual. more than that, it's just a good way to live. When you give, you find so much more in your life. More than anything, in terms of perspective. So first thing you do is give. So I guess that could also be another money-saving hack. But second thing you do immediately is give to your future self. I do 10% to tithing, 10% to saving, and actually 10% to debt, because my wife and I are currently in a bit of credit card debt right now. Again, being very open and raw with you. Hopefully you don't use that against me in some arch-villain, evil, megalomaniac way. But if you do, that would be super epic. So, I don't know. We'll see. Again, send some money to charity, or send it to your future self, right? Now, the rest of the money-saving hacks are sort of negotiable. I mean, some people advocate for putting up a little money aside to kind of treat yourself, you could say. And I've tried that before. I didn't necessarily see that it was quite useful. My wife and I did 3% to each of us, which the reason why it probably wasn't useful was because it's probably a bit too much. We probably should have just done 1%. But I honestly find that a better way to live, personally, is when you do have those things you want, talk to yourself and talk to your spouse about those. Communicate and make conscious decisions rather than, yes, I have the money, I'm going to spend it. That's a good way to live, regardless of whether or not you do allocate money to yourself for recreational or discretionary enjoyment. The next money-saving hack, I would say, is you need to have at least some humble understanding of sort of your situation in life. I would say station, but station isn't really the right connotation because, it changes. You're not relegated to where you are currently forever. But you do need to understand that you might be in a period of life where you can't eat out every week or every day. I don't know what your standard capacity is, but you need to understand you're not in. You might not be in a stage of life where you can splurge on certain things. And I would say, even if you think you have enough, you still might be in this stage if you're not saving enough money. I've recently been reading books on financial independence, the FIRE movement, the financial independence, retire early. And a big portion of that movement, at least the tactics of that movement, is to save abnormally large percentages of your money and put those in performing index funds for later use. And again, the movement is really, at its core, all it is spending money on what really makes you happy, right? And most of us actually spending money and time on what really makes you happy. Most of us aren't in jobs that we would love to do every single day. We would love to do something else. Most of us spend money on things to impress people we don't care about. And the FI movement, FI, is all about reducing the waste, you could say, in your financial life to make sure you are optimizing everything for your happiness. And I think that's a very valuable way to live. One, because you do end up saving a lot of money. How many of us really spend money on Amazon boxes that we don't care about? And yes, you are paying for those boxes regardless of whether you think you are or not. The last money-saving hack, I would say, and it's not so much a hack, and honestly, all of these aren't hacks. They're more of like principles, because guess what? Hacks don't always really work in the long term. They might get you there quicker in the interim, the short term, but they might not be actually effective. So the last hack is communicate with your partner. If you're alone, communicate with yourself. You are your own partner. You need to understand what your wants and wishes are, and don't come to that conversation with judgment or assumptions of what you should be doing, quote unquote. Just understand. Yes, I want this. I don't know why, I don't care why, but I want it, right? In D&D, sometimes your character wants a pet. Even though that doesn't give you any sort of mechanical benefit and actually might have some mechanical disadvantages, your character wants a pet, so you get it a pet. Even though, again, that technically, from a gaming perspective, from a min-maxing perspective, that's a complete waste of money. So come to that conversation and talk to yourself openly and honestly. Also, talk with your partner, whether that's a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, if it's your dog. Talk to them openly and honestly, trying to understand what they want. If they can communicate back, listen. If they can't, like they're a dog, maybe you can anthropomorphize them and pretend like you know what they want. I don't know. But listen to what they want and do everything you can to make sure they're being honest, open, and clear with their communication. So that way, what you do spend your money on does have value for both of you, and so that way you're saving money for the right reasons. So I hope that these money-saving hacks have been useful for you. I will probably do more episodes on saving money, frankly. For one, because money-saving hacks can also refer to specific tactics, but in this case, I spent a little bit more on kind of the overarching principles of why and how you should save money. I hope that your gold pouch is bulging with gold coins. I hope that you have so much money that you do have to start giving it away in droves because you just don't know what else to do with it. More than anything, I hope your adventures are always epic and awesome. I've been your host today, Justin Lewis. Thanks for joining me on my drive to work, and I hope your drive is just as good or whatever else you're doing. And may all your crits be... I always mess that up. May all your rolls be crits. See you next time.